What you're about to witness is nothing short of a political earthquake. The biggest female rapper on the planet just flipped the script on American politics, and she's bringing millions of young voters with her. If you're not paying attention right now, you're missing one of the most extraordinary political realignments in modern history. This is the Nicki Minaj MAGA surge, and it's changing everything. Welcome back to the channel, fam. If this is your first time here, make sure to smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell because we're covering the stories that mainstream media doesn't want you to see. Today, we're diving deep into something absolutely massive. Nicki Minaj, yes, that Nicki Minaj has officially become Trump's #1 fan, and her army of fans, known as the Barbz, are following her straight into the Republican Party. We're talking about over 100 million records sold, one of the most influential voices in hip-hop, and a fan base that's overwhelmingly young, diverse, and from communities that Democrats thought they owned forever. But something's changed, and that change is sending shockwaves through Washington, D.C.
President and our Vice President.
Well, I have the utmost respect and admiration for our president. He knows this, but he's given so many people hope that there's a chance to beat the bad guys and to win and to do it with your head held high and
Let's rewind for a second. During Trump's first term, Nicki Minaj was openly critical of the president. She spoke out against him on multiple occasions, but something happened during Trump's second term that changed everything. In November 2025, Nicki Minaj stood at the United Nations, yes, the United Nations, alongside UN Ambassador Mike Waltz to address the persecution of Christians in Nigeria. This wasn't some celebrity photo op. This was a woman using her platform to shine a light on what Trump called a humanitarian crisis, an estimated 100,000 Christians killed in Nigeria since 2009. When President Trump designated Nigeria as a country of particular concern for religious freedom violations, Nicki Minaj didn't stay silent. She publicly thanked him. She posted on X saying, "Reading this made me feel a deep sense of gratitude. We live in a country where we can freely worship God. This wasn't performative, this was personal." Born in Trinidad and Tobago, Nicki understands what it means to come from a place where freedoms Americans take for granted aren't guaranteed, and she's not afraid to say it. Then came December 2025. Nicki sat down with Erica Kirk, widow of Charlie Kirk and chairwoman of Turning Point USA, at America Fest in Phoenix. This wasn't a quick soundbite interview. This was a full 33-minute conversation where she opened up about faith, politics, and why she's supporting President Trump. And then came the moment that broke the internet. At a Trump account summit in Washington, D.C. on January 28, 2026, President Trump called Nicki Minaj up on stage, and she declared herself probably the president's #1 fan. So what are these Trump accounts everyone's talking about? This is a game changer, folks. The Trump Accounts program is a tax-advantaged investment account for American children. Every child born between January 1st, 2025 and December 31st, 2028 is eligible to receive a $1,000 contribution from the U.S. Treasury. Think of it like a 401k for kids, low-cost stock index funds that grow tax-free over time. But here's where Nicki Minaj took it to another level. She didn't just support the program, she put her money where her mouth is. She personally pledged between $150,000 and $300,000 to fund Trump accounts for her fans' newborn babies. Let me repeat that. A rapper, someone from the hip-hop community that the left thought they owned, is personally funding investment accounts for the next generation of American children. She's walking the walk, not just talking the talk. But Nicki didn't stop there. On February 12, 2026, she took to X, formerly Twitter, and rallied her massive fan base to do something unprecedented. She asked them to call their senators and demand they pass the Save America Act. What's the SAVE Act? It stands for Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act. It requires Americans to provide documentary proof of U.S. citizenship when registering to vote and requires photo ID to vote in federal elections. Nicki posted, "Barbz, get your pretty little fingers out and call your senators. I'll bribe you if I have to." And you know what happened? Senators' phone lines got absolutely flooded with calls, not from boomers, not from traditional Republican voters, from Gen Z, from young women, from the LGBTQ community, from demographics that were supposed to be locked in for Democrats forever. The House passed the SAVE Act on February 11, 2026, with a 218-219 vote. Only one Democrat voted for it, Representative Henry Cuellar of Texas. Now it's headed to the Senate, and Nicki's army is putting pressure on every senator to get it passed. Now here's where it gets absolutely wild. Nicki Minaj's fans, the Barbz, aren't just supporting her, they're following her lead politically. And we're not talking about a handful of people. We're talking about hundreds of thousands, potentially millions of young voters publicly declaring they're switching to the Republican Party. Let me show you some real posts from X that went absolutely viral. One fan account, A Barbiaclub, wrote, "Today is the day I switched to Republicans, seeing how the Democrats treated Nicki Minaj on social media, the press, and in public. They were mocking a black woman. Trauma is just insane to witness. I may get hate for this, but I believe it's the right thing to do." That post, over 300,000 views. Another fan, Ajay Mirage2, wrote, "Officially a Republican. I'll never vote for a Democrat ever again." That post included a picture of Minaj and Trump and has been viewed over 300,000 times. The fan account, A Gag City Sheriff, posted, "MAGA Barbz it is, I will never vote them again." Over 70,000 views. And then there's Annika TF, "Just officially left the Democratic Party. I'm disgusted with the way they've been handling things. Maybe I was blinded, maybe I didn't know any better, but growth is always the next goal. Nicki Minaj x MAGA for the win." Over 80,000 views. These aren't bots, folks. These are real people with established accounts posting verification screenshots of their voter registration changes, and they're from all across America. Conservative leaders immediately recognized what was happening, and they're stepping up to meet this movement. Scott Pressler, the legendary conservative activist who helped register hundreds of thousands of voters, posted on X, "To any of Nicki Minaj's Barbz, if any of you need assistance registering to vote or changing your party voter registration status, I will personally take time to help you." That post, over 230,000 views. Tyler Bowyer from Turning Point Action posted, "Nicki Minaj should go on tour and we can all help register tens of thousands of new voters through her concerts." Over 140,000 views. This is unprecedented, folks. We're watching a cultural and political realignment happening in real time on social media, and it's being led by one of the most influential artists in the world. Now let's talk about why this is such a disaster for Democrats. The New York Times, not some conservative outlet, the New York Times, published an article in August 2025 titled, "The Democratic Party's Voter Registration Crisis." Here are the numbers, and they're absolutely devastating. Between 2020 and 2024, Democrats lost approximately 2.1 million registered voters across 30 states that track voter registration by party affiliation. During that same period, Republicans gained 2.4 million registered voters. That's a 4.5 million voter swing in just 4 years. The article states, "The stampede away from the Democratic Party is occurring in battleground states, the bluest states, and the reddest states too." Let me give you some specific examples. North Carolina, Democrats had a nearly 750,000 voter registration lead for decades. By December 2025, it shrunk to just over 1,000 voters, and as of February 2026, North Carolina became majority Republican in registration for the first time in the state's history. Pennsylvania, Democrats once had a registration lead exceeding 1.2 million during the Obama years. As of early 2026, that lead has shrunk to barely 50,000 voters. Pennsylvania will officially be a red state within months. Florida, once a perennial battleground state, Florida has experienced what the Times calls a remarkable inversion that explains the state's transformation to the new symbol of red America. And Democrats are hemorrhaging voters before they even get to the polls. This is about party brand. This is about which party represents the future. And right now, fewer and fewer Americans are choosing to be Democrats. For decades, the political left held an almost unchallengeable monopoly on pop culture. Hollywood, the music industry, legacy media, they all functioned as one unified messaging apparatus for progressive ideology. That monopoly is cracking, and Nicki Minaj might be its most dramatic fracture point. Think about what her shift represents. She's not Kid Rock, she's not Ted Nugent. Those are artists whose audiences are already conservative. Nicki Minaj's fan base is overwhelmingly young, multiracial, female, and many are from the LGBTQ community. These are the demographics that the left considered permanently theirs. A Harvard study found that celebrity endorsements are incredibly powerful in driving civic engagement. Taylor Swift's 2018 Instagram post alone generated 250,000 new voter registrations in 72 hours for Democrats. Nicki Minaj commands a comparable cultural footprint, over 100 million records sold, massive social media reach, but she's now pointing that influence toward conservative causes, faith, family, election integrity, and financial empowerment. The left understood long ago that politics is downstream from culture. When the biggest female rapper on the planet walks away from the progressive consensus and brings a generation of young fans with her, it signals that the right isn't just winning elections anymore, it's competing for culture itself. Of course, this hasn't come without consequences. Nicki has faced massive backlash from the entertainment industry and former fans. Videos of her music being booed in clubs have gone viral. Petitions calling for her deportation have amassed tens of thousands of signatures. Trevor Noah mocked her at the 2026 Grammy Awards. Critics have argued she's aligning with Trump to secure pardons for her brother and husband, who both have criminal records. But here's what Nicki said about all the hate. The negative reaction of some fans to my alignment with Trump motivates me to support him more. She's not backing down, she's doubling down, and her real fans, the ones who've been with her through everything, are standing by her side. Let's talk about Nicki's personal story because it's incredibly important. She came to America from Trinidad and Tobago when she was just 5 years old with literally nothing. Through raw talent, relentless hard work, and determination, she built a global empire. And now, after living in America for over 30 years, she's finalizing her U.S. citizenship. She's been spotted holding up her Trump Gold Card, a symbolic representation of her path to citizenship being expedited through legal channels. Unlike so many ungrateful celebrities who trash America while enjoying its freedoms and prosperity, Nicki Minaj is saying, thank you. She's grateful for the opportunities this country gave her. She's proud to become an American citizen, and she's using her platform to give back to the next generation. That's the American dream, folks, and it's alive and well. So what does all this mean for American politics moving forward? First, it means the Democrat stranglehold on pop culture is officially broken. If Nicki Minaj can support Trump and survive, even thrive, it opens the door for other artists and celebrities to speak out without fear of total career destruction. Second, it means the Republican Party is successfully appealing to demographics that were supposed to be off limits: young people, women, minorities, and LGBTQ voters. The Barbz going MAGA is proof that these groups aren't monolithic voting blocs. They think for themselves. Third, with Democrats facing the worst voter registration crisis in modern history, losing 4.5 million voters in just 4 years, and Republicans gaining ground in every single state that tracks party affiliation, the 2026 midterms could be an absolute bloodbath for Democrats. Fourth, the SAVE Act momentum is building. If it passes the Senate and becomes law, it will fundamentally reshape how federal elections are conducted in America. Documentary proof of citizenship and photo ID requirements will become the standard. And fifth, the cultural realignment we're witnessing isn't about one election or one artist. It's about a generation of young Americans waking up to the fact that they've been lied to by institutions, media, and celebrities who claimed to represent them but never actually listened to them. The Barbs are coming, and the Democrat Party should be absolutely terrified. What we're witnessing right now is history in the making. Nicki Minaj, one of the most successful female artists of all time, has taken a stand for faith, family, election integrity, and the American dream. And millions of young voters are following her lead. Whether you're a Nicki Minaj fan or not, whether you're Republican, Democrat, or Independent, you have to admit this is one of the most fascinating political stories of our time. So here's my question for you. Do you think this is a genuine political movement, or is it just social media hype? Do you think the SAVE Act will pass the Senate? And do you think more celebrities will follow Nicki's lead and start speaking out about their conservative beliefs? Let me know in the comments below. And if you made it this far, you're a real one. Drop a MAGA Barbz in the comments to let me know you're here. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Share this video with everyone who needs to see it because mainstream media won't tell you this story. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and remember, the truth always comes out.